You are listening to the Profoundly Posh podcast, Word on Our Street, with Jenny Berry and Carl Royal. Guess what?
What?
We're on.
Have you pressed play?
Press play. Did you not see me press the button that time?
I don't know what you're doing because it looks like a bomb.
It's that
little recording device.
It's we don't want to give away our secrets.
No, definitely not.
But it's a good little bit of kit. We can take it round and about with us, can't we?
People comment on it a lot.
They did. A lot of people have commented on the interview from last week.
I know. We've got a
He's
lot
a
of good
star, isn't he?
feedback. Yeah, absolute star.
So, and also people bothered to take a look at the pictures as well.
Yeah.
And do you know what? People have been absolutely brilliant.
Apparently, we've got good banter.
Is that the thing?
Yeah,
We
apparently.
I can't disagree with that. I don't think if we didn't, we wouldn't be doing this, would we?
Look, if someone wants to blow smoke up my backside, I'll take it. There's no work on.
Really? So anyway, I don't know.
Where were you going with that? I felt you. See what I mean? We have an edited version of Word on Our Street, but we got to pay for it.
No, we don't. We would never do that to people, would we?
We wouldn't.
People have actually told us to do that. Do a premium episode.
Yeah.
We'd like our original offer to be our premium episode, wouldn't we?
Well, that's what we're doing, of course.
I don't think we'll. But very soon you might be able to buy a T-shirt so, with our eyebrows on it.
Yeah.
So, the eyebrow T-shirt. Can you imagine if we could get that to be a thing?
I think we can quite easily.
Did you see me just throw that in there, see if we get any feedback?
Well,
and mugs. What about mugs? Do you think we should get merch?
We need a bit of merch, but I think with an eyebrow theme on it, definitely.
Yeah,
maybe beauticians will buy it.
With the monobrow.
Yeah. That's quite funny.
You mentioned a monobrow last week. Anyway, we've got to do this because lots of people are listening, which is brilliant. And again, listenership's going up week on week. But we'd love it if people would, well, how do you put it?
Subscribe and share.
Like, subscribe and share.
Eat, sleep, repeat.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe and share.
Well, and the other thing is, also, tell if you're enjoying what we're doing, and we're talking about. Loads of people are telling us they're either watching the films we talk about, buying the books, and so if you're liking this, tell your friends.
What's good about a podcast is though, it's not like a radio show where you have to listen live at 2. You can listen back. I know you can listen back to radio, but you can download it whenever you want. And
do you know what? That's what's been really good. We're trying to grow organically as well. We're not doing any silly advertising. We're not doing anything gimmicky. So we're asking for all the helpers, just all the audience, just to help us a little bit. Tell your friends. Yeah. Just if you told 10 friends and they told 10 friends, just imagine.
Word on our street, word of mouth. That's what we need.
Absolutely.
And we are getting it. We're growing organically. We're not using Botox.
Yeah.
We naturally, trying to grow, and it's happening. And
it's lovely, some of the nice things that people are saying to us. So you can look at all the other stuff we do. We're trying to complete the circle we've got the blog, so you can find us on Blogspot. We've got the Facebook page. We've got the Instagram. We've got the Twitter.
Now I want to start doing, which we've discussed, some Instagram lives. So we need a few more followers, and we're going to start.
Is that when we just hold our camera and actually just let people see us doing what we're doing?
Yeah, but it would be nice to engage with some of the guests. We can have have an Instagram live every month or something like that.
Well, we could do that in a couple of weeks. So while we're doing this, actually have a.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from the most unique artists out there, the most niche part. I remember being in Australia and there was a load of street art on, and there was what do you call it, Carl? When you're on
what are you doing?
I'm trying to.
You look like you're pushing a pram.
So a guy basically on a bike when he was 6 foot in the air and the wheels were massive. What are they called?
That's a unicycle.
No, it wasn't though.
It's a big unicycle.
A big unicycle.
A tall unicycle.
It was the biggest unicycle I've ever seen.
How many wheels did it have? 1.
Yeah, okay.
So it was a unicycle.
But there was a guy there. Yeah, all right, yeah. Blonde moment. No, but I remember there was a big chat in the middle of Brisbane and they were saying how street art and circus is dying out. This was 6 years ago, though.
See, I know loads of street entertainers, so it's a weird thing, and it's not strong. Well, do you know what? They're some of the first people who, because you perform outside, they're getting to perform a little bit more busking and things like. Do you know? A couple of years ago, I worked at the British Grand Prix.
Right.
And I worked with some of the best street entertainers in the country.
I want to hear from them.
And they were absolutely amazing. And I shared a house with them. Now, a good friend of mine, Michael Diamond. So, hi, Mike.
He's a diamond, Mike.
He is a diamond. And he does a brilliant sideshow show as well. He has a big stage. He's a great magician as well. Great magician. And he put me in touch with a lot of his friends because I had to put this show together. And for the 3 days, and we shared a house, and I heard some stories. And do you know what? In the nicest way, because I'm not covered from head to toe in tattoos, and I don't swallow swords and stick nails up my nose. At first, it was like, is this going to be a bit strange? Oh, some of the nicest people I've ever met. And I've kept in touch with them all as well on Facebook. Great guys. And the young lady as well. It
just intrigues me, that side of the arts. I don't know much about it. It's funny because obviously you're always in those worlds with what you do and what you've done.
I used to love flea circuses. Do you know what
flea circuses?
Yeah, well, like when the fleas pull a little thing, they jump off into
water.
Yeah,
you do. Yeah.
I always remember seeing one at Bellevue when I was a kid. When that was a thing, because we had one of the first theme parks at Bellevue, didn't we? And it was, you don't know, you're too young for that. You have no idea what I'm talking about. But I don't even know how we went down this route. But I think what you're saying is, if people think that they would be relevant to our show, any part of the arts,
completely,
do get in touch because it's the listeners and the people we talk about and talk to that make this what it's growing into. Because I can't believe how many people are listening now. It's brilliant.
Not at all. And it would be good to do the Instagram live, but we'll cover that again.
Yeah, we'll do that. And you want to get someone on who's head to toe tattoos.
Oh, I like fire, me.
Do you?
Love it. I'd love to, when you go to shows and people are running over hot fire, that's not that big of a thing.
Fire eaters and stuff like that. Blowing the fire.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. I'm doing a skydive next week.
Are you?
I am. So I'm up for
Are you going to be reciting poetry as you're falling through the air?
I might do, yeah. I might rap, actually.
And then can you record it?
Yeah, I'm paying for it recorded, yeah.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
And then we can put it on the podcast.
Are you going to come and push me out the plane?
No, you're not getting... No. that's not happening, is it? No. Not doing that. So, again, it's another week where in the arts... It's been some people have been getting to work, but it's still quite difficult out there.
I've seen some funding opportunities though coming up more, which is good.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start mentioning them in the blog. If anyone wants us to mention anything particular about jobs and funding, let us know and I'll blog it.
Yeah, we want to get it out there, don't we?
You can't blag a blogger.
Can't blag a blogger.
No.
I like that.
Yeah.
Your alliteration.
My alliteration.
Is incredible. See what I did?
What did? No, I don't.
Alliteration, incredible.
Right, well done.
I thought about that for like 3 seconds as it was coming out my gob.
Jesus.
Anyway, it's nothing to do with him. This is so we've been watching a bit more TV.
Yeah, we have.
And you said what you've been doing is watching things that you used to watch when you was a kid.
It's because of Disney, I think.
Yeah, and
but it's dead. It's fascinating seeing it through adults' eyes.
Yeah.
So I've.
What was the first one? What was the thing that's made you want to talk to me about this?
The Labyrinth.
Oh right, Labyrinth.
I love the Labyrinth
with David Bowie in it.
Yeah, David Bowie.
He was a bit strange in that, wasn't he?
He was a bit strange.
And it was all the Jim Henson puppets and stuff like that, and I watched that quite recently, I think.
I think it has been on a few times.
Yeah.
But, Hoggle.
Did you
Hoggle?
But did you think it was good?
I did think it was good, but nowhere near as good as when I was a kid.
It.
And also the actual effects. Aren't you disappointed as the world evolves and you look back and you think...
They're a bit rubbish, aren't they?
I was really impressed with, the fairies that speak and the purple-haired snail.
Yeah.
They're a bit...
Little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched Never-Ending Story back? No, it's the same sort of thing with the big
I've
white
not, to
dog.
be honest, no.
When you do look at something, I mean, you look back and you do go, oh, that's clever, but special effects have moved on so much now.
So much, yeah.
See, one of the ones, when we got Disney, Is it? Do you know what? It's funny that we plug in something that's such a big organisation.
Yeah, but it's kept us going a bit through lockdown, so why not?
But some of the stuff that's on there, what's the back catalogue? So I watched Escape to Witch Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Which when I was a kid,
yeah,
again, that was one of the ones that I sat down with Izzy, who's 10.
Yeah.
Now, I was quite curious because I think when we talked to somebody in a couple of weeks, we talked about the pace of comedy, and that interview's not been on yet.
No.
But it's coming up very soon, and we were talking about now this. I think when I watched it again, I was thinking, I think films of today are a little bit faster paced. Mm-hmm. But Izzy loved it.
That is interesting. That's very interesting.
And to the extent she wanted to watch, like, Return to Witch Mountain.
Right.
And when we looked, it was so old. I was only about 9 when I watched it.
I'd love to hear then from our listeners now if they've had an example with their child, and if they've liked or not liked something that they've shared as the mum and dad have watched it as a kid.
Do you know when you're a kid, as a parent now though, because you've only got a little one, and mine
I can only compare to 2-year-old at the moment, yeah.
But the amount of times you go,
yeah,
watch this, it's brilliant, or listen to this music, it's brilliant, and they look at you like you're an absolute alien.
But I remember that. I remember Leonard Cohen, who I absolutely love now.
Yeah.
I was brought up with the Beatles, so I've always loved the Beatles.
Well, do you know what? This is where I think I was weird kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Carl, you're a weird adult, but don't worry.
But this is true, because you just mentioned Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
Who, I've not told you this, I've got a few of his books. Did you know he writes books?
Of course I do.
His poetry books.
He was a poet before he wrote Hallelujah.
Yeah.
He was a failed poet, but I don't think he failed.
No, so I've got a few of his books. Sort of.
Do you like Carl's patronising? Wait, did you know that, Jenny Love? Yes, Dad, I did know that, darling. He's like my absolute legend of life. I aspire to be like him.
So when I was at secondary school,
yeah,
and everybody was like in the 80s, this be early 80s, because I did like pop music. But if any of you say who's your favourite singer or favourite band, I would be going down the route of Leonard Cohen, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, right? Even the country. In fact, I saw Johnny Cash in concert.
Who excelled in prison work.
Right, James Taylor, right? So all these people who everyone went, who?
But to me, Carl, with that, you just appreciate fantastic lyrics.
Yeah, so I used to love it, and to the extent it would result in bullying, because it's like anything. What do you mean you don't like the Jam? Do you know what I mean? Well, I did like the Jam, but it was so the way things work at school is if you've got that thing, and I don't know, I used to stand up for like the fact I listened to James Taylor, who no one else had heard of, and it's obviously influenced off your parents. I was influenced off my dad in particular, because I wouldn't have listened to that music. Especially, I remember, this is true, we had a student teacher come in when I was at infant school, and he was into Bob Dylan. And I said, I know Bob Dylan. He went, yeah, whatever. And he started playing a song, and apparently I can't really remember this, but I stood up and sang a Bob Dylan song with the teacher. Would have been about 7.
Really?
Yeah.
That's definitely from home.
And so no, it is. So, but I mean, I've never had that kicked out. But what the thing is, all those people now, as I've got older, all of a sudden became trendy.
You were a bit of a trend setter,
I don't believe I was a trend setter in any way whatsoever, but you got all the people who at the time, they got to be just listening to one type of music. And as they broaden their horizons, all of a sudden within, as you get older, these people, and like Johnny Cash all of a sudden went from...
Johnny Cash is amazing.
Before, especially when just after he died, it was like, oh, he was the greatest singer, he was the greatest, he's great. No one wanted, but loads of people... They were deniers. It was like people who wouldn't admit. It's like they wouldn't admit to liking stuff. So the reason I think it was a good route to go down this is like, just like what you like, and also encourage the people you like. Don't deny it.
So I'm going to talk about something now that I liked and people didn't at the time. Shameless. Do you remember Shameless?
Right. Yeah.
Because we talk about things that we've gone back to.
Yeah,
quite recently.
Well, you can get Shameless on one of the streaming things, can't you? But you told me there's an American one as well, didn't you?
Yes, it got sold to America. Paul Abbott, a fantastic local writer. So I thought I'd just dip into the American one and compare it.
Yeah.
Now, American audiences in the humour are different.
They're not going to get Salford humour, are they?
No, what they do.
Do they?
They've adapted it a little bit, but there's character names. Everything's very similar. And I'm loving it.
Is he called Frank?
He's called Frank, yeah. Frank Gallagher.
Yeah.
But I just, that intrigued me because of my TV stuff. The fact that, you know, the format can be sold elsewhere and work, and it works. If you like Shameless, I'd got to a certain point with the first one when it got a bit too much for me.
Right.
But I'd say try watching the American one.
How many? So here we go. Here we go. So original Shameless.
Yeah.
Yeah, original Shameless that we all know and love.
Right.
How many eyebrows?
Right, okay. So looking back from the age when I watched it, I'd have given it 5.
Yeah.
Because I've evolved as a person since then.
Yeah.
But for me...
It's a bit rude, some of it, isn't it?
It got extremely crude and rude, yeah.
Yeah.
But the original concept of it was talking about working class people. And, you know, it was set in council estates. And it was a bit of a rant, I think, and how everyone's not that bad. Not everyone judges them like that. But there was a time when they did.
So anyway, you didn't answer my question. 5? Are you giving it 5?
I'm giving it 5 eyebrows.
Because you can't do better than Shame. That's the best.
I'm saying for the English version, when I watched it, when I first watched it, I'm giving it 5.
Right, here we go. American version.
Right.
How many eyebrows?
Well, because obviously I'm from Salford, so I'm giving it 4.
Oh, is that good?
I'm personally, if you liked the narrative of Shameless and you appreciate the comedy and the wit in it, you know, and I'm in that gritty life in my writing is.
Yeah.
So I love it. Yeah.
I've not watched any of it. You did tell me to.
But I didn't like American Office and I liked English Office.
Yeah. Well, it's weird that some of it translates and some of it doesn't.
Yeah.
A lot of people really like American Office, though.
Like it more than the English one, a lot of them. But personally, I've not watched enough of it, but I don't.
Yeah. It's no, I get it. It's another interesting thing to go out and compare.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to let us know what you think of those things, because you can get in touch with us on Facebook. We always reply as well, don't we?
We do.
We always send a little message back, and I quite like it. So we've got another guest on.
I know.
I mean, it has become a guest-driven show now, and I think we've realised that that's the best thing to do, and as well as just having our little chats that we do with our banter. Because apparently we have good banter.
We do,
You said that before.
Well, I'm this guest. I did an interview, did I?
No, well, we tried something a little bit different because we can't always both be in the same place at the same time. And so we're going to interview someone called Anna Swan, who is a brilliant actress. And we have a little chat about that, or actor. So her Twitter will say it's Anna Swan actor. So now I don't want to say how I met Anna because it's all in the interview. But we met and we got to know each other really well. And I've followed Anna's career over the last few years, and I've seen her go from somebody who's doing sort of local theatre stuff. She's done great work at drama school and basically just trying to enhance her career. Then all of a sudden she cropped up on the TV, doing that in a couple of adverts, and it's like, that's Anna. That's Anna. And then I went to see her in a play, which was brilliant, which we talk about. But then all of a sudden she's on something on Netflix, and then she's on something else on Netflix in another film. And it's like just having this really cool thing with someone. I don't know her really well. We get on really well, which I hope you'll see in the interview. But and she's such a lovely, lovely person, and she was so helpful to my daughter as well, who's interested in going into theatre.
When you told me that, I was really looking forward to listening to the interview.
Yeah, and it's and one of the things I'll say before going to it, the reason it's worth listening, she gives us some great behind the scenes snippets of a big budget Netflix series, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And she talks about she was in Dracula, and she talks about that, and it's worth listening.
I mean, how cool is that for your CV? Casually. I was in Dracula.
And was it The Stranger was the other one she was in?
The Stranger was... Did you watch that?
No, I've not watched it.
Oh, you need to watch it, Carl. I need an eyebrow rating off you, or anyone.
but you'll if you want to picture someone, she's also in the Crunchy Nut cornflake advert. But I've seen her in loads of ads. She crops up. I say in the interview, we play a little game. There's Anna on the telly because it's somebody who we know.
I won't spoil it because you're going to play the interview. But she says a very interesting factual thing about commercials and actors.
Yeah,
and I appreciated her honesty with that.
Yeah. It's a very honest interview. People are being quite cool, but again, quite humble.
Very humble.
And very modest. In fact, I had to drag getting her to try and plug some of the stuff. And she also helps people so much because she has a youth theatre group.
I've seen on Instagram and the work she does.
And we'll put some of the links on the Facebook page like we normally do as well.
Yeah.
Shall we put the interview on?
Yeah, play.
Shall we stop talking?
Stop swanning around.
Okay, this is Anna Swan.
It's interview time on Word and Our Street.
Right, we're on now. We're in the real world, so I've got to say, I'm so pleased to be able to have a chat with somebody who I've become friends with and followed a career over the last few years. We actually met in a bowling alley, which we'll talk about in a minute. So, the actor that is Anna Swan. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Do you know what? It's brilliant because we don't talk very often, do we? But I think we keep track of what each other does on social media, which is a cool thing.
Absolutely, and I'm so pleased that you're doing this podcast.
Yeah, well, do you know what? You've just said some really nice things about the podcast, and you said everything in a way that what we're trying to do. So it's to get people to engage with the arts.
Good, which obviously it's so important with everything that's going on at the moment. And you know what, everyone has been engaging because everyone's had so much extra time to sit and watch things and listen to things, and there's lots of theatre that's been streamed, especially National Theatre Live, which has been amazing.
Oh, they've been awesome, haven't they?
Oh my gosh, so good. I watched the one last night, Deep Blue Sea, with Helen McCrory, who is phenomenal. But yeah, that's been great, especially, things that you've missed. Obviously, we live up north, so, obviously the National Theatre does tour stuff. But
but you don't get to see it, do you, sometimes? And
not always.
I watched Treasure... Did you watch Treasure Island?
Yes, I did.
Did you like that?
I enjoyed that, yeah. And that's one that I missed. But I actually did see Deep Blue Sea when it was on years ago. And, Helen McCrory's just amazing. Anyway.
I'm trying to think of the other thing we watched. Oh, is it One Man, Two Governors, or Two Governors, One Man?
Definitely One Man, Two Governors, yeah. Oh, that was brilliant as well. Absolutely brilliant.
It's nice to see some of the things. I mean, I know you know my daughter as well, so she keeps tabs on what you do. Well, she's very encouraged and keeps track on what you do, and you're very encouraging to her. We'll talk about that in a minute because it's one of the ways I got to know you really. And she keeps recommending things to watch, and so it's good. The whole thing is some of the stuff you like and some you don't. So it was. I'm trying to remember. She's recommended some weird stuff. But you mentioned Hamilton. We keep bringing Hamilton up on the podcast, and you said to bring it up because you like a bit of that, don't you?
Oh gosh, I really enjoyed your chat in episode 1 about Hamilton. I was just literally like, I totally get what you mean when you were like, it was my thing and I've known about it for years and now everyone knows about it. But it's so good. I was obsessed with the soundtrack for a while, which, a lot of people were. And then, it was coming over to the UK. So me and my friends bought tickets a year in advance, which you probably could as well when you went. You had to book a year in advance because it was just, a sellout.
And they made it weird as well, didn't you? You had to take ID to go. They made it like this, as if it wasn't like just going to the theatre. It was like, if you've not got your passport, you're not coming in.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember that? And people in the queue were all going, "Are you sure? Have you got your stuff? Have you got your stuff? Are we going to be able to get in?" So,
I don't remember having to take my passport.
Do you not?
I mean,
it was. I just remember it being a little. It wasn't just you bought the ticket and walked in, because they did the thing where they didn't want any transfer of tickets. The people who bought the tickets had to go, didn't they? And that was what they were trying to do. So what did you think of the film version? Have you seen the Disney version yet?
Oh my gosh, you know what? I saw on Facebook, everyone was watching it. A friend messaged me saying, "Are you watching it?" I was like, "I don't have Disney Plus." And a friend of mine I put a post out on Facebook saying like, "Oh, I'm the only person without Disney Plus." He said, "Oh, do you want my login?" Thank God. But then it wouldn't work on my smart TV, and then I tried to connect my phone to the TV, and it just wasn't working. So I ended up watching it on my iPhone, but it didn't matter because it was just the way it was filmed was just incredible. Just the way that they got all the shots in and made it so seamless, because there's a lot going on, there's a lot of characters, so you know it could be easy to kind of miss different things that are going on, but I just it was so great to see it all up close as well.
It was, wasn't it? That was the thing I thought. And as I said in that thing, when I was talking on episode 1, I think what's interesting is, in some ways it made it better, but in other ways the theatre thing, when you see it from a distance, there's certain set pieces that look better in the theatre.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Because there are close-ups and things get missed. But I mean, you know what, Carl? We've seen it both ways now.
Yeah.
So,
no,
you know
spoiled.
what I mean?
So anyway, that's enough about Hamilton, because everyone. So let's talk a little bit about you. So that's why I got you on, because do you know what? It's been brilliant getting to know you. I've known you for a couple of nearly 3 years now, I would say. And I mean, all joking apart, we met when I was working doing magic in a bowling alley in Manchester, where they had a private bit, and we
in the private room.
Yeah, in the private room, and as it was, I'm sure you don't mind me saying this. You were waiting on, yeah. Now.
Oh yeah, hostess.
Hostess, you were hostessing.
So
you weren't waiting on. Sorry, you were hostessing. No, we'll get it right. And do you know what? This is the way I always look back on things, and I've said it a little bit on some of the other podcasts, is not just how you get to watch things, but how you get to know people. Sometimes when you backtrack, it's really unusual, because it would have been really easy. It would have been really easy that night, because we got chatting, and I showed you some magic, and you said, "Oh, I'm an actress." Now, there's a lot of people say that, and you go, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But we got from second one, we got on like a house on fire, didn't we? And
we did. I remember we were talking about drama school, and then you were talking about being a red coat and all sorts of stuff.
You listen as well, don't you?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I was so pleased because sometimes doing those events, you know, when someone's booked a big party and everything, and you're there just to make sure everyone's having a good time and clearing up glasses and things, to have someone to actually talk to, you know, because they're long events. You could be in that room for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
It was just so nice to chat to someone, and also, oh my gosh, whatever magic trick you did, I shit myself. I don't know if you remember, but
that's a phrase I wasn't expecting. But
I was gobsmacked. I was freaked out. You did something with some cards, and then I can't remember, but it was Yeah,
but this is the way it all progressed, because I remember you when we got chatting, and you said, "Oh, I'm in a play in Manchester." And so again, this is something that I know would have gone the other way. Is I went, "Oh, I'll come and see it then." And then in your head, you must be going, "Yeah, of course you will." And we did. I came with my daughter. Of course I did. So I came with my daughter to watch it. And so that was a thing that you did in Salford with some friends, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of my best friends, James Ernest, he's a playwright who you've met already.
Yeah.
And he, we've done a couple of plays together, but yeah, we did it at the King's Arms Theatre pub. King's Arms or King's Head? King's Arms.
King's Arms, I think.
Yeah. So it's just so long ago now. I also confuse it with the King's Head, which is a pub back in my hometown. Anyway, yeah, so we did that play there, and it was amazing.
Yeah, but you were very good in that.
Thank you. I put a lot of hard work into it, because the character was quite full on. I don't know if you remember.
No, I do. It was you sort of held the whole thing together in the way the story went, and it was quite an unusual play, wasn't it? So, what I always remember, Anna, and this is where I try and take this forward with my kids and everything else. Is you came and sat with us afterwards because I have my daughter with me and she wants to go to drama school, and she took so much of the fact that you came and had just a quick. You didn't even just have a quick chat. You came and had a drink with us, and she was absolutely buzzing. And it's little things like that people remember years and years later. Do you know what I mean? That they went to see something when they were younger, and the lead actress came and sat with them and had a drink. So I can't thank you enough for doing that. And she's
that really warms my heart hearing you say that, because, well, obviously, I teach as well, so it's always great to meet young, budding actors, because it's quite a kind of daunting thing to think about, going into, and so it's nice to make it kind of real, talk to someone who is giving it a go.
so you don't just, when you say you teach, you don't just teach. You've got a theatre school, haven't you?
Yeah, it's more like a sort of
you are so modest. You are so modest. We can pull it up a little bit if you want to. So.
Well, it just makes it sound like we put on these big productions. It's more like we run workshops for kids, which when we do put on small scale shows for parents and things, and it's like a weekly workshop, and we do all sorts of things, devising, creating pieces from scratch. We use all our own material, and me and James, we run that and we love it, and we write some of the material for the kids, and we have plans to expand in the future, but everything's just gone a bit pear-shaped, hasn't it?
Just a little bit. So whereabouts is that based, Anna?
Well, for the past 2 years, it's been based in Poynton.
Yeah.
So
you've not dropped the name yet. You've got to learn. You've got to drop the name in.
Yeah, sorry. So we are Northern Core Theatre, as in like core, as in what's at the core of you. Yeah. Me and James are both Northern. We're very proud of that. And I've also taught. I teach privately as well. I've worked with people who have gone to drama school, working on speeches. Because back in the day, when I auditioned for drama school, I did so many auditions over many years, and it's just such a long-winded process, and it's so expensive these days. You really need to prepare. So I work with students doing that. I also work with some young actors who are sort of like 10, 11-year-olds, but they're going up for big auditions like Matilda and School of Rock, and I'll help them with their monologues and help prep them for auditions, which is so exciting, especially when they actually then get the parts and you can go to the West End and see one of the kids that you've worked with. It's amazing.
No, it's but this is a thing where I've from meeting you're very, very giving with and enthusiastic about everything that you do. But let's not try and hide your light under a bushel, because as I said before we came on, I've watched from meeting you. It's you've got a blossoming TV career at the moment, haven't you?
Oh, let's hope so. It's started.
You keep cropping
finally.
Up. I've said we play a game in our house. That's Spot Anna on the telly. So you've been in a few. I've seen you be a superhero. Yeah? You've been a superhero. Yeah. I've seen you crunching up cornflakes.
Yeah.
Have you been in a bath recently or something like that as well?
I have been in a bath. My last job I did before lockdown all kicked in is for Victoria Plum Bathrooms, really? Which is a Hull company, so I'm happy to advertise them, based in Hull. And it's a very literally blink and you'll miss it, but I'm in a bathtub, I'm reading a book, it all looks very nice and luxurious. And that was me, and then lockdown kicked in. But then with the adverts thing, when you get it, just so, because a lot of people don't know how the process works. Obviously, you're plugging away, you're trying to get parts. What I've seen is that people who get things in adverts then normally crop up on other things very quickly. So has it been a good lead into some of the drama stuff that you did last year? To be honest, the two things don't really have a link.
Do they not? Is it just that? Is it just that that's someone who's really trying to get work?
Well, so obviously, commercials are great, and I've done quite a lot of them since like graduating from drama school years ago. But in terms of going to, the drama, TV, film, casting directors don't really look at your CV and go, oh wow, she's done these adverts company in that company. She must be a really good actor. Let's get her in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The only great thing about doing commercials is sometimes the directors and casting directors that you meet will then go on to do bigger, better things, TV dramas. So there's a director called Phil Hawkins, who directed the Victoria Plum commercial and the Motorpoint one I did a few years ago, and he is a film director, and he has his own like YouTube channel, and he made, was it last year or the year before, a Star Wars fan film called Origins, and it's absolutely phenomenal. You can see it on YouTube. It's like a 25-minute long thing. George Lucas has seen it, given it the thumbs up,
right.
And it's like amazing. He's doing all these commercials really successfully, but then he's also going off and doing these incredible movie projects. So in terms of meeting people, I mean, you know this, it's all about meeting people in the industry. So it's important to go and get as much work as you possibly can, but you can't be under any delusion that, if I do a commercial and someone sees me on TV, then they're going to think that I'm right for the next line of duty.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I wish it was like that.
Yeah, but you did seem to get, you got your own episode of Doctors, didn't you?
I did, and you know what?
You were like the featured person in that. You've got to say you weren't very cheery in that.
No, I wasn't. and they put barely any makeup on me. I looked so ill, but it's all good. It's good to look kind of rustic and
No, that was brilliant actually. It was brilliant. And
you know what? I love that because it's the sort of one of the first times when I've had chance to have a real story arc.
Yeah.
Doing something on TV where you actually have quite a lot of scenes to film, and there's a lot of emotions going on, and the characters dealing with all sorts of stuff. But we filmed it in 2 days, and it was such a quick turnaround. You barely get time to think.
Really?
It's pretty crazy. So things like Coronation Street and Emmerdale and whatever, they move so fast that all the actors in those things are really highly skilled to be able to carry those stories without really getting that much direction. Like, you don't really get that much input in terms of your performance on things like that. It's so quick. Whereas you could do a feature film and you can do a take 10 different times, and the director comes over and says, let's try it this way, let's try it that way. You don't get that on soaps. It's just, there's no time.
Yeah, and then if we look on Netflix, we can find you on Netflix as well, can't we?
Very well, actually, yes, you can in two things now, because Dracula's just moved to Netflix.
It does. I was aware.
And The Stranger, both very small roles. You'll have to look quite hard to find me in The Stranger, but not as hard in Dracula because it's quite apparent because of something that happens, but I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, and with what was Dracula like to work on? Because obviously that's like a big budget production, isn't it? And
yeah, and that was great. It was quite repetitive, and this is what's so interesting. We did so many takes because it basically, just for people who haven't seen it, I'm in this one scene and it's set on a beach, but they couldn't film it on the beach because of light and everything. The light would go down too quick and then you'd lose half the day. So we were in a huge studio, and they basically created like the beach on the floors, the sand and rocks and things, and we had green screen. So one day you do green screen towards the sea, and then the next day you do the green screen towards the land.
Okay. So
you literally flip it round. So we did everything one day and then everything again the next day for the two different
so when we see you on that beach, you're not actually on the beach?
No, spoiler alert.
Oh no.
You know where we were in the Warner Brothers studios near where the Harry Potter
really?
Yeah, so all the Warner Brothers massive studios that they've got there. We were there. But the best thing about that job for me was Clay Spang, who's Dracula.
Yeah.
Was so much fun to work with. I mean, it's not like we were, joking around having barrels of laughs in between takes, because he was very focused. But when we were actually doing the scene, he would do different things every time and try and kind of unnerve me in different ways. And, there was one point where he got so close that our noses nearly touched. And that they didn't use that take.
Right.
But just to have an actor who is, really working to, do something to the other actor, and to give them a real reaction in the moment is just, it's a joy to work with. So, and he's great, really professional, really nice as well. We did have a couple of chats, and really, really nice guy. So that was good. It was fun.
And then March happened, and then
oh gosh, March.
I mean, everybody knows. You only have to look on the news, and it's quite obvious that the arts are being hit. So we're sort of first out, last back, aren't we, really? So
honestly, they're opening my gym next weekend.
Oh, are they?
Like, how on earth can you open the gym when everyone's touching equipment with their sweaty hands, and we can't sit in a theatre every other seat and watch a show with a face mask on? I don't understand it.
I know. I asked for an explanation for what I do, and they said, "Well, the trouble is if you're in a group and people start laughing, and I do like,
oh God,
cheers." They seem to be coming up with some of the. It's as if things don't all fit together, and when you look at it from a point of view when it's your job and what you do, it's really tough. So you mentioned to me you've been. And I use the word trying because I've done the same, trying to do some stuff on the internet. You said you found that a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a few different projects over the last few months. Right. Doing stuff online, like the teaching, has been difficult, mainly because the teaching that we do with our workshops is for like primary school age kids, and they really struggle being online for long periods of time, and just the focus and attention, and we feed off their energy running around, and they just love being in the room and doing drama, and it's not the same thing. So that's been a real struggle, but we've kept it going. We've done some writing workshops, we've been doing play readings, and I think it's been really important for some of the kids to have that kind of touching base every week, to do something that they enjoy doing, even though it's not quite the same. But in terms of sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, what have you got for when we can get back to some kind of normality? What have you got lined up for yourself?
Well,
or is it a secret? Is it a secret? Are we not allowed to talk about it?
Well, you know what? I am actually doing some filming this weekend and next weekend.
Awesome.
It's a low-budget feature film that I actually did a first audition for pre-lockdown, and they're managing to film it socially distanced because it's such a small cast.
Okay.
And there's a lot of scenes is just one actor being filmed, and then a lot of the communication is via radio. So I'm doing that, which is great. I've only got, again, small part, but just being on a set, working with director and another couple of actors is going to be great. But also another reason I think why they can do it is because it's a sci-fi. They're wearing spacesuits with helmets. So isn't that convenient? Isn't that brilliant? They can film this whole thing because the actors are covered with a glass face mask. It's
brilliant.
Amazing.
No, love it. So you've got so you've been a superhero. I mean, we touched on that. You genuinely flew, didn't you, on one of your adverts, which I thought was brilliant. And so you've taken that through to the film thing, and now you're going to be in a spacesuit. I can't wait. Like, see, my wife says I play out for a living, but I think you play out for a living more than I do. So
I hope so. That's the aim, isn't it? Definitely.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions, Anna, because this is what we're going to try and do with the guests. So as we said, we're touching on different subjects in the podcast, and one we've obviously theatre and books, etc., etc. So 3 quick questions. Favourite piece of theatre you ever saw?
Oh.
See, I put you on the spot here. I didn't tell you I was going to ask you these.
Oh my gosh. One of the best things I seen was Othello at the National with Rory Kinnear and Adrian Lester. Absolutely mind-blowing.
So you've gone highbrow. See where you've gone.
And then I can just add Hamilton on to the end of that as well. Plus Hamilton.
That's in there, is it? Is that in with one of the best? So,
yeah.
And favourite book?
Oh, Harry Potter series. Always.
Is it really?
Yeah. I love them.
I didn't think that's what you were going to say. I really didn't think that's what you were going to say.
I don't actually read that much. I'm always like watching stuff, but on the other hand, Maggie O'Farrell is an author that I love as well. So, yeah.
And the last one, music. What music do you listen to?
Oh gosh, so much, lots of different things. Oh God, again, you put me right on the spot. I love old stuff.
Yeah.
Like Fleetwood Mac. I love Stevie Wonder. I love Billy Joel.
You've seen my playlist. Can you see my record collection?
No, I can't.
That's all the stuff I listen to.
I feel like we spoke about Billy Joel before. Anyway, but then I love new stuff as well. Like of recent years, like I love Mumford and Sons. I was a massive Kings of Leon fan when they were good. Bless them. No, they are still good.
You just retracted your statement then in one breath.
Yeah, and then Amy Winehouse, Laura Marling, Bat for Lashes. So much. It's really hard to pin down. Yeah.
Brilliant
Stuff.
Do you know what, Anna? It's been awesome to catch up with you. I'm sure
you too.
Everybody's going to find what you said really interesting, because do you know what? It's not often you see all these people on television. You go to the theatre, you don't hear that informal chat of what they get about, and that's what we're all about. We're trying to make what we do not. We say we're not highbrow, we're eyebrow, and that's.
Oh, brilliant. Love it.
So it's but it's nice to just be able to have a chat with somebody and do you know what? Like I say, we met a few years ago, and watching your career progress, and then seeing you doing dramas, and then seeing you on Netflix, and it's been a really cool thing to follow. And let's just hope it continues.
Thank you. Yeah, me too. I'm really hoping that things can start getting made a bit more this year, and we've got to stay positive, really.
I can't wait to see you in a spacesuit now. So.
Oh, yeah, let's hope it fits.
Okay.
I haven't had a costume fitting yet, so.
Let's hope it fits. That's brilliant. So, thank you so much for joining me today, and good luck with the filming of the next thing that you're doing. And
thank you.
I hope to see you soon. See you soon. Thanks very much.
See you soon. Bye.
Oh, I can't stop laughing.
Sorry. How amazing was that?
She was lovely.
Well,
I'm
she is.
gutted I didn't interview her with you a bit.
Yeah, but do you know what? That was the thing that was a little bit. We can't both be in the same places.
No, we can't.
And you're going to do some interviews that I'm not going to be on.
Yeah.
So it gives us an opportunity, really, to have a chat about the interview in a way. Because it's. I thought it was she was really open about some of the work that she does. Do you know what I mean? And how trying to progress, and she's trying her best. And you know, it was funny when the interview finished. I bet we stayed on the phone for as long chatting.
Oh, did you?
But yeah.
Well, I like the way she doesn't paint a picture like a fake picture. She's just real, and it's hard work, but you do get places by keep going, don't you?
Yeah. And I think anybody in the arts, though, is struggling at the minute. And I think it was just it's everyone we're talking to. We're getting a similar story.
Yeah.
And it's like I know she's like being frustrated with not being able to do the theatre school and with the kids and stuff like that. And but she was dead excited about going and getting dressed up in a spacesuit.
Oh.
So it's I think she was going to London the day after, and it's I can't wait to see that as a film.
I know. How good.
How good's that? I'm going to go and be a space person.
But how amazing you met her at a bowling alley.
Well, I've probably downplayed that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's not really a bowling alley. It's the restaurant in, is it something Lanes, or Lane Ends or something in Manchester. And
All Star
Lanes, it's called. Isn't it? And they've got a private room at the back.
Oh, I've been in it, yeah.
So I've done quite a few private parties in there. And so people hire that out for special occasions, and she just happened like a lot of actors. You do jobs on the side,
of course.
But the thing is, this is where I think, as I said in the interview, when you look back, it would have been so easy. I'm doing my job, she's doing her job, yeah, and no one's there, and you have a little bit of a chat, and you go okay, and then at the end of the night, you go see you. Nothing's thought of it. If both of us wouldn't have taken an interest in what the other person did, and then I wouldn't have gone to see the play that she was doing in Manchester, and then Becky wouldn't have seen her, and then I wouldn't have noticed she was on the telly, and then you would have kept in touch. And she came on the radio show as well. So when they were launching the theatre school, so it all comes from just taking the effort to have that extra little bit of conversation with people. Or, as I said, it would have been really easy for someone to say, I'm an actress, and me go, yeah, whatever. Or for me,
how many people are actors?
Yeah,
actors.
Yeah, but you might get it with the poetry, you know what I mean? It's just like, I've got to be honest with you, I sort of do that with magic. The amount of people who go, I do a bit of magic.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but do you? Yeah. Do you really?
I get poems sent to me all the time, which is lovely, and I want word on our street to send them if people want to.
We've had a few,
but I've had randoms send me lots and lots. So yeah, I'm with you with that.
And also, but what I thought was lovely, because I'd not mentioned it before we rang, is when she mentioned about when we're having a chat and you were telling me about being a redcoat at Butlins, and I'm like, how have you remembered that? To me, that would have been a one sentence. I wouldn't have been gone on about it.
You tell everyone about your redcoat days.
Do I?
Yeah. Oh, you must have loved it that much.
I did actually.
There you go.
No, it did. I'm still in touch with a lot of the people.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
well, that's good.
But I think that she was lovely. She was absolutely lovely, and she'll continue to be lovely, and we'll love watching her career blossom on our TV screens.
Yeah, and you can also look at the work she did with the children for me as well.
Yeah.
The workshops. There's lots on Instagram, so we'll post all that.
Yeah.
We
do, because you do the blog, so we'll put all the links on, and people can go and have a look at some of the work that she does as well.
Absolutely.
I liked hearing about the stuff on Dracula.
Oh, I know.
That it wasn't really on a beach.
But Carl, have you watched yesterday?
Have I watched yet? Where was the segue? There was no segue.
I just created one. Sometimes you've just got to go in there.
Do you know what? You before the interview, you mentioned the Beatles.
I did, yeah.
And I haven't watched yesterday, so this will be a bit of a reversal, because normally I've watched and you haven't. Because I normally make the effort. But
moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
I'm the press girl, darling. I get us in places.
Okay, but the answer to the question is no. But the answer to the question is I would love to have watched it. Mm. It's a film that I do want to watch. It's right down my street. I love the Beatles music. And I also love you. When we talked about, in the last episode, we talked about one of the books I'd read. Yeah. And you picked up, it was the structure of the book that made it interesting.
Absolutely, yeah.
I loved the premise.
Magpie Murders, that was.
Yeah, I love the premise of this film.
Right. Well, your son's watched it, though. Is that right?
No.
I thought you said he'd watched it and he loved it.
No, I think that was something else.
All right.
Do you want me to edit that bit out?
Yeah, edit that bit out. Edit that bit out. Clap.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it in.
Don't.
Yeah.
No. Right.
What's the premise of the film for people who don't know?
Right. So basically, it's a young singer-songwriter who's struggling.
Yeah.
Jack Malik. I won't give too much away, but that's his name in it. And this really weird global blackout happens.
Right.
And he's fantastic, right? But it's dead hard in the arts, and he's not getting anywhere. He's going everywhere, and he's going, I've got a Glastonbury, and there's about 4 people in his tent.
Really?
Yeah, the life of an artist. And after this big accident and blackout, all of a sudden, the Beatles and the history of them have been wiped out globally. And he only knows the lyrics. So he starts just playing, singing. And everyone's like, wow, that's a good song. And he's like, you're taking the mick.
Yeah.
So he basically ends up becoming really famous on the back end of the Beatles.
Really?
I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah.
Because
there's a couple of special guest appearances in it as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like people who you might not expect. So, because I do know of the film, and I even watched the making of it, I think, at one stage. I just haven't watched it yet.
But it's really funny the way they introduce it. He's just there chilling with his friends, strumming the guitar, singing. And they're like, whoa, Jack, when did you write that piece?
Yeah.
And it takes a couple of minutes to realise, they're not messing about.
Really?
Yeah. Please watch it and let me know what you think. You'd love it.
And has he got? I don't give the ending away, but has he got a good payoff at the end?
It shows he's a good person.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a feel-good film.
It's a feel-good film. The plot of it, to me, when I first read it, I thought, but it's actually quite genius.
Is it?
Yeah. So you don't have to be a fan of the Beatles either. I am. I am. So
I am as well. So I'd love the music.
Yeah, no, the actual plot, and it's directed by Danny Boyle. So who's not going to love it?
So eyebrows.
5.
Oh, okay.
Don't need to think about that.
Is it that good?
For me, it was. Yeah, it gripped me throughout, and it just made me think. Imagine if no one had heard of Leonard Cohen. I could do this.
Yeah,
you'll have to watch it to see what I mean.
No, I get that. I get the. Do you know what though? The structure of, like I say, we touched on it with the book.
Yeah.
And I always remember another book that I read. And do you know what? This is going to be really, really bad. You've just mentioned Danny Boyle.
Yeah.
Because Danny Boyle directed this film as well. But I always remember hearing an interview on the radio, and the premise of the book, and you'll know what it is when I start talking about it, was. A kid, a young person, ends up going on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But the book isn't called Slumdog Millionaire.
Right.
And it's called something like The Quiz Show. And I can't. I should look it up. We'll put it in our notes. We'll put it up in our notes. So, but what was great, it was all about structure. When the author, he even talked really honestly about it, and went, I can't believe no one had thought to do this before. Because basically, he gets asked all the questions and people don't expect him to know the answers, this kid. And then there's a story behind why he knows every answer.
Yeah.
Which everyone's seen Slumdog Millionaire now, who's directed by Danny Boyle.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those where you go, I could have written that.
Yeah, but that's the genius in things.
Isn't that but that's the genius.
People say
it's that simple.
Yeah.
Because that idea of going, how did he know the answer? You could have made a little short story up about each one.
Yeah.
And so why haven't I thought of that?
No, it shows a genius that it happens a lot in writing as well, or poetry. Loads of times, but actually try it then. You try and do it, and you probably couldn't.
What? Try and write a poem?
Yeah, a good one.
Next episode.
Carl's got to write a poem.
Is that my challenge?
If you want it to be.
You've got to do a magic trick.
Oh God.
You've got to learn a magic trick, and I've got to write a poem. Who's got the hardest task?
Well, we need to film it, really.
You would have to film. We can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. I think that can be our challenge.
Obviously, you've got the easiest tasks because you could write a nursery rhyme, you could write whatever.
No, I'll do something proper.
You can't pull a trick off, really. You have to.
I might help you. I'll help you a little bit.
Maybe I'll just get into a box and disappear.
And then do you know what they can do? People could actually judge us and send us eyebrows.
Maybe.
I don't mean like the real eyebrows. That'd be weird. Right?
Don't shave your eyebrows, kids, if you're listening.
So,
just wax.
No, what I mean is people could sort of mark us on eyebrows.
Why not?
So I'm aiming for 4.5 eyebrows for my poem.
Okay. I'll be happy with 4 for my magic trick.
Would you?
Yeah.
We'll work on that. Maybe not the next episode, but maybe...
We'll do it soon.
We'll do it soon.
Pressure.
So if you think that's a good idea, if you've got any ideas... Let us know.
I've not been to Hogwarts, you see.
I have.
You know what I mean? You're a magic circle lecturer.
I am actually.
I know you are.
Been there, done that. So we're coming to the end of the episode.
I know.
It's shocking, isn't it?
Are you going to watch Yesterday tomorrow? I love saying that sentence.
I am going to watch Yesterday.
Yeah.
Next time we get together, I will tell you how many eyebrows I'll give. I've got a feeling I'm going to give it 5 though.
Yeah.
It's my kind of film, and I can't believe I even wanted to go to the pictures to see it, but it's just gone. It's gone past. I'm probably waiting for it to come on Netflix where I don't have to pay for it. It's not on free.
You're
It's not on free to view.
Lockdown laziness, aren't you?
Yes. It's no. It's do you know if people are listening to this in years to come?
Yes.
And we keep talking about lockdown. Do you think we'll get to a stage where what are they talking about?
Probably think that we are
what are they
locked
talking
down
about?
in a mental unit.
It feels like it.
It does.
Do you know? Right, I'm going to do something now. I'm going to introduce somebody who I've known for years and years and years. And what's quite funny is we did actually use this lady's song on one of our introduction podcasts that we did before we started episode 1. So it was I think it was the taster, wasn't it? Was it called the taster? We called it.
Yeah, we had a taster and a pre-ep, didn't we?
Yeah. So I think what we've noticed is everyone's jumping in at episode 1. So they're listening to the little 10-minute thing that we did, and then loads of people are jumping in and listening to episode 1. I would recommend you go and listen to the taster again, because it's we talk about what we're about quite a lot, don't we? And
We talk about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I suppose so. So anyway, Charlotte Day is one of the best singers I know. She has a lovely studio in Macclesfield. She has lots of famous people going into a studio, but she's an awesome artist herself.
Have you noticed we've not been invited into a studio?
We've not been invited yet.
You want any eyebrows coming in? Proper eyebrows, not highbrows.
I've got to say, she's definitely 5 eyebrows.
She's fantastic.
On my chart.
I've seen her on, our links, obviously. We've linked up Facebook and everything, Instagram.
Yeah, and do you know what? She's over lockdown, I think she's released a couple of records that have raised a lot of money for charity.
Brilliant.
And she's been doing that. But she had a record come out a few weeks ago, which was called Hit the Road. I really love it. It's a little bit country and it's a little bit rock country, and so
let's hit the button then.
I think we'll hit the button and we'll say to everyone, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
My name's been Carl Royal.
My name's Jenny Berry.
Enjoy.